Hello there, my very good friends. I'm Andy. This is Adam. Double or Nothing is this weekend. We're going to do some predictions. There's no need for a fancy intro. You know what a prediction is.
Yep.
And you know what Double or Nothing is.
Let's go.
So let's start off. We're doing this, as always, in Wikipedia order. Because who knows what kind of lineup, what kind of a match run we're going to get when Tony Khan works his pay-per-view magic. But we're going to kick things off with Roddy Strong and Will Osprey for the belt. This one's been brewing for about 4... This was one of the first matches announced for the card.
About the night after the pay, wasn't it?
That's right. I think it was the Daily's Place show.
Yes.
When they had the big Gauntlet Eliminator Cluster F match that Will Osprey won to earn contendership for this match. I mean, on paper, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's a completely absurd professional wrestling match. Will Osprey, of course, is... the best wrestler in the world, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of people would argue that. Personally, I'm a Bryan Danielson guy in that argument, but, you know, Osprey, for the cutting-edge, hyper-modern wrestling fan, he's the guy. And Roderick Strong is an absolute freak machine of a brute of a boy. He is not normal in any sense. People forget that, because Roddy Strong, he doesn't often have these big singles matches these days. And, you know, when he's not having the big singles matches, he's fanning around doing comedy gimmicks and shouting people's names. People forget this guy is an absolute freak of nature. This is it could be the best match on the show from a pure work rate standard. I'm curious to get your thoughts, because to me the result seems cut and dry.
Well, this is the thing, I'm a little bit conflicted about this, because like you say, I'll probably say this for about 5 different matches on this card, but an easy contender for match of the night. Will Osprey and me could have one of the best matches ever, because it's Will Osprey, but Will Osprey and Roderick Strong, my word, this is going to be absolutely sensational. But yeah, like you say, you think Osprey wins. But then my head goes, well, hang on. By August, Osprey's, in my booking at least, challenging for the world title. And I know, and the Dadleys have told me, that maybe this is a way to sort of amalgamate a few of the belts and just sort of go, right, actually, we've got too many of the mid-card belts. Let's put them all on Osprey and just sort of merge them all together. As a result, I'm going to go for a shock here. I go Roderick Strong to win here. And I think, even though they haven't really built this whatsoever, and I hope they were going to, if they were going this direction at the Pape, I think this is the moment that Don Callis goes, you know what, bollocks to you. Because it's a weird it's a weird association, isn't it? Don Callis, arsehole, bell-end group, Will Osprey, babyface ostensibly, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the story, isn't it? Will Osprey kind of gradually realizing that these guys are complete assholes, and also realizing at the same time that he's not a complete asshole anymore. There should definitely be some kind of storyline development with that whole situation. For me, I am drawn to the idea of Will Osprey hoovering up a couple of belts and melting them down into one. I know it's a well-worn talking point at this stage, and a lot of people disagree, but I do think that AEW has too many men's singles titles in particular. I think we could do with amalgamating a few of those. I think he beats Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong never shouts somebody's name again.
I think 50% of that is likely to happen.
Maybe.
Anyway, moving on to our next match. It is the women's world title. Timeless Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. Another really good match on paper, this. Obviously, Serena Deeb just so technically brilliant. I've had issues with this in the build because I didn't really know who was the heel and who was the babyface briefly. Like, Toni Storm has been trending towards a babyface for quite some time now, and they're maybe building up the Mariah May. Ooh, is everything all right there? Like, there's no conflict, but they keep bumping into each other and doing things like that. And then like a few weeks back, Timeless Toni Storm came out as Serena Deeb was talking about the harrowing story of her having seizures and what have you, and went, "Shut up! No one wants to hear that." And I was like, "What?" But I feel like they've re-established it with this week's Dynamite of like, right, Toni Storm's the person you should cheer for, Serena Deeb is the heel, and Toni Storm is going to retain because you want to get to the Mariah May, Toni Storm, All About Eve conclusion, basically.
You'd imagine that that's going to be the payoff to this whole deal. Even if it isn't necessarily Mariah May winning the belt in the end, even if the rivalry ends after Tony's lost it to maybe someone else, maybe a Jamie Hayter in London, that'd be cool.
Mina Shirakawa's been factored into this as well.
She has indeed, serving champagne and kicking ass. There's all kinds of different routes you can go off with this one. It's a good role for Serena Deeb, the pay-per-view challenger, who doesn't necessarily need to go beyond one pay-per-view arc, because look, from an in-ring standpoint, I think Serena Deeb is the best wrestler in the division by some margin as well. She's sensational. But she's also not someone who necessarily needs to be protected to a ridiculous degree or whatever, because she's so good and get back on track just like that. The alignments have been weird. It's weird that there's been, to me, it's kind of strange that there's been a bit of confusion or like in the way they've presented them, because Serena Deeb's character is an asshole. Like she's always got to be the heel. She's the professor. She's talking down to you. She's bullying you.
Twisting your legs in all directions, Tony
Storm is extremely funny and should be a babyface at this point. So I think you're bang on. Tony Storm's winning this match. But hey, if you disagree, let us know in the comment section below and give us your wackiest fantasy booking idea.
Oh, well, I've got some wacky booking when we get to the Anarchy Arena. Don't you wait.
Don't you wait. All right. Wait. And we're not going to wait.
You can skip this timestamps in the... No, do wait. We get to that eventually.
Yeah, watch every second, please. Yeah. It's good. It's good for the algo.
Just you wait. That was what I was going for. There we go.
It's the boys. The grumpiest men in show business are going to throw down for the TNT Championship. Edge. Adam Copeland defending against Malachi Black. Adam Copeland has kind of gone through the House of Black already. He's not wrestled Julia Hart yet, the coward. But he's wrestled Brody King. He's wrestled Buddy Matthews. Actually, I think he's still wrestling Buddy Matthews. That was a hell of a 7-day long match. But piss taken aside, we've seen all kinds of spookery, as you would expect in the build to this, on the Go Home episode of Dynamite. The blood bath, the brood bath, whatever we want to call it. Just that. I don't think that liquid was even liquid by the time it hit the mat.
Bits in it.
It was so fast as well. Yeah. It was like, I'm going to pierce your skull. Malachi Black with this blood. So giving him a bit of a taste of his own medicine. There's been an ongoing story, Fred, with the do the voice corruption.
Corruption.
There you go. Since Copeland almost called him Edge again, got misted, of course. He has been showing increasing signs of moving to the DX.
He's gone to that place, hasn't he? Yeah.
He has gone to that place, capital T, capital P, a couple of times. For me, I think the result of this, it's not necessarily cut and dry, but I think the most interesting one from my standpoint, I want heel Adam Copeland sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because he's great at that. Not to say he isn't great in this role, but he's great at that. In particular, we've not seen it for ages, as long as it's not the Judgment Day-esque. That was really bad. I want Malachi Black to go over, win the belt, new champion, all of that. But Adam Copeland's going to turn heel at some point, maybe join up with Christian Cage. And then Malachi Black is going to be sitting there on his black throne, because he is one of the kings of that throne. Yeah. He sits on it at the same time as Brody King and says, see, not only did I beat you and take your title, but I also...
Did you? Sorry.
There you go. As well. That's what's maybe.
Yeah, I'm not confident as a result on this one. I'm going to go Adam Copeland. I think he holds the TNT title for a little bit longer. Like you say, it does make sense though. I will bite on a finish for Malachi Black. Because like you say, it would free up Adam Copeland. Christian Cage, spoiler alert, is not winning the world title in my booking. And therefore, wait a second, that's both of them available to set up as a tag team.
And be dickheads.
Yes.
And it would be good.
I'd like to see that all in, for example. But no, I think Adam Copeland, he picked this match, and I think he should retain and keep his TNT championship. Do we get a Gangrel appearance?
Oh, I hope so. It's been a while since the Ganger showed up in AEW.
Yeah.
Last time he just got his ass beat by the Young Bucks.
Yes, he did.
Guy. He was in the deletion that they did as well. Yeah, I'd be here for that.
He missed out on a WWE payday that Dudley's reminded me of course.
Yeah, it was very rude.
But so I think you're going to get, Gangrel showing up, even though they're in a steel cage. Maybe, I don't know, Buddy Matthews decides...
Barbed wire steel cage.
Yeah, I'm going to scale it, and it doesn't matter, I've got some gloves so my hands won't hurt or whatever. Yeah. And Gangrel shows up and says, you're not doing that. Here's a bloodbath for you, bitch. And then Beth Phoenix is going to show up and get the wedding ring back from, let's say, Julia Hart.
Okay.
Or Brody King. The more I think about it, I quite like Beth Phoenix. We're like, son of a bitch, give my husband's wedding ring
Brody
back.
King with a glam slam.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
There's going to be, if there wasn't already in the build, there's going to be tons of claret in this match, isn't there? I think Adam Copeland retains.
I just want the House of Black to have all the shiny things, because they're my favourites.
And then your booking does make sense. If you are going to try and amalgamate all the titles, Osprey versus Malachi Black.
Yep. Okay. Next.
Oh, I love me some Konosuke and Takeshita! And he's winning. He's beating Moxley. It's a title eliminator, so the title's not on the line, but if he wins this, he obviously gets a title shot from Mox, and that's why he should win. It's that simple for me. Yeah. That German suplex, Sidge was getting very excited about on the Dynamite review as well, where he's like, it's all right, man, Seidel, I know you've just lost in short order, but get back to you. Whoa! Great stuff.
Take a seat.
Yeah.
Simple booking is the best booking, and the simplest route is the best route in this match. Takeshita absolutely should go over to set up an IWGP title match between these two guys.
Is that on a New Japan show as a result of this?
That's a very interesting proposition, for sure, because New Japan needs a little juice at the moment. At the same time, Forbidden Door is not so far away as well. So I guess that's kind of a New Japan show.
Good point, yes.
Yeah, sort of.
That'd be a big match at Forbidden Door.
It certainly would. I think that I don't really have any alternative booking options to give you, because that is clearly the best one, and on what's going to happen.
I mean, they'll go a decent amount of time, and it'll be really enjoyable. Obviously, Takeshita's had some ripper matches with Omega and Osprey and stuff in the past.
Yeah.
Mox, you kind of have to fight to have a bad match against him. They're going to kick each other's ass. I just think Takeshita really needs a big push in 2024, and I hope this is the start of it.
He does. He's one of these guys who will have like an incredible singles match or whatever, and then he'll just go missing for a while. And it is a shame, but him and Mox can't really fail, in my humble opinion. Right, our next match of the evening is these guys. These guys.
Wrestling match.
Trent, Orange Cassidy. Look, for me, Trent has to win this, really. Yep. Orange Cassidy, first of all, he can lose whatever he wants. He's always going to be incredibly over with everybody. But Trent, to me, needs the victory to solidify the heel run. Yeah,
not a lot to add to this. Orange Cassidy won their match on Dynamite. Yes, a couple of weeks ago. So you have to have Trent win this so you can do a big stepped-up rematch. Maybe as a result of what happened on Dynamite in the tag match, where Callis tried to help Orange Cassidy and get him away from an end of heartache or whatever. Maybe Callis is like, you should really try and cheat here, Orange Cassidy, and he's a bit conflicted, and that kind of cost him the match. And then you have the Callis shadow over their final big stepped up, I don't know, whatever sort of rules match you want to do there. That's where I want. I know he might not be able to wrestle anymore, and that'd suck. But I'd still like to see Chuck Taylor involved in this. Heel Chuck Taylor for me, please. He and Trent head to the Don Callis family after Trent wins the feud, and as a result of that, he obviously has to win this one here.
Heel Chuck Taylor in AEW is the thing I desperately want.
Yes.
I hope that story about him legitimately needing to retire is nonsense.
Yeah, me too.
It would actually be a pretty good heel move if it was like, I'm back 3 weeks later, brother, sorry. It was all crap. People don't know. People who've only ever seen babyface Chuck Taylor, or they've seen like the clips from PWG that Jim Cornette makes fun of or whatever.
Hand grenade or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
and you can the comedy in particular is extremely subjective, and you can like or dislike that to whatever level you want. You don't know what Chuck Taylor really is until you've seen him work as a heel. Dust in all caps. This guy absolutely rules.
Yeah.
He may actually have missed his calling in wrestling as a plunder brawler. Him and Trent together as heels. I've been not bored, but not necessarily invested in best friends for a long, long time. But those two back together in that role, I think that could be awesome.
Bastard Mates tag teams. We're booking quite a few of them on this card.
Bastards everywhere, man.
Ooh, yes,
it's the land of the bastards.
Speaking of which...
Hey!
No, not quite there. Thought it might be the back match, but it's okay. I couldn't remember what order we were in.
Good, yeah.
We'll get to that one. I'm ordering 3. Chris Jericho, Hug, Kazuhiro Shibata for the World Championship.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what to go for on this one. I want Jericho to go away.
I would quite like him to f off, to be honest.
But is he this quickly going to go away? Is the 3-person gimmick often, in there, like we've talked about for King of the Ring, for example, of if it was just Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, you're putting the title on Chad Gable, but you've got Bronson Reed, you've got Katsuyori Shibata in here. It's like, okay, well, someone can win and someone can lose, and then you can still do that match again. I think that's what they're going to do. I think Jericho retains here. I think Hook should win, but Jericho retains here. It's a triple threat match, and it's an FTW title match. Anything goes. Big Bill will probably help the Learning Tree retain the For the World Championship, and he's going to be even more unbearable on television until he drops the title to Hulk in a few weeks.
I could not be any less passionate about this match, and I'm not going to... I'm going to try not to prattle on and on and on about it because I don't want to send people to sleep. But yeah, I do think that from a storyline standpoint, the most sensible option probably is Jericho going over. Maybe he pins Shibata, so him and Hook is preserved or whatever later down the line. If you're going to make something of this Learning Tree character, that you can't really just have him get his ass kicked straight away, right? You've got Big Bill as an insurance policy of sorts. I think that that's probably the route they're going to go down. I'm really sad of the role that Katsuyori Shibata plays in AEW at the moment makes me a little bit sad in many ways. Because look, the guy went through physical hell. He almost died in the ring. I do not expect him to be going out there and like headbutting people anymore, right? I don't want that because it will endanger him. But the way he's booked is almost kind of like a novelty act with his little phone translations, which are funny, when he does them with Renee and all that stuff. But I don't know, just kind of, he feels like just another guy these days.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a shame.
It was like I did have a bit of fun, I have to admit. I'm not a huge fan of this Jericho character. I haven't been for a long, long time. We've done videos ad infinitum about this. Kind of like the Shibata Jericho match for the silliness of like him slowly walking towards him with a bin on his head or whatever. But I can understand where you're coming from, and you're far more knowledgeable about Shibata's history than I am. Yeah, finish is probably Hook chokes out Jericho, but the ref doesn't see it. Big Bill cleans out Hook, and unconscious Jericho pins Shibata. There you go.
All right.
That's what I'm going for.
Let's go on to the first of the... It's actually a quadruple main event show, Double or Nothing.
Is it now?
As announced by Tony Khan. Here we are.
Son of a bitch, I was one early.
Here we are. It's the Bang Bang Gang. This is their official name now, finally. They've changed it on the website. Bullet Club Gold is no more. It's just the Bang Bang Gang.
Bing, bing, bing.
Bing, bing, yep. Defending their belts against...
How many belts? They got trolley for it now, haven't they?
They Yep. They carry it around in Brum. It's mental. They're Death Triangle are their opponents. They reunited this week. Ray Phoenix looks like he's been eating all of the horse meat in the world.
Oh boy, yeah.
At the moment, he's looking shredded, which is great. But yeah, Death Triangle, they're back in action. They're challenging the Bing Bing Gang, the most annoying men in show business. I say that as a compliment. The whole point is that they're supposed to get under your skin and go, shut up, Jay White, you weird guy. Who's winning?
It's a bit me that thinks that, Death Triangle win to free up Jay White for another world title match.
Oh, please God, no.
I don't know where this has come from in my brain, but it's popped in, and now I can't get rid of that thought. Death Triangle should win. I love Pac and the boys, and with the Elite the way that they are now, like circling back, but with a version of like, you know what? The Elite are going to say, actually, we fancy those trios titles again now, and they're all the trios titles. They bring them all together, and yeah, whether it be the Bucks and Jack Perry or the Bucks and Omega as a trio, yes, please.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of beef in the past as well. Those various combinations of human beings. Some of the best matches in AEW history have come from those combinations of human beings. I think Death Triangle are going to go over as well. I think that for better or worse, and a lot of people would argue that Jay White should be a main event player in AEW. For better or worse, the way AEW have slotted the Bang Bang Gang in is as just like a novelty heel act in a lot of ways. They're snotty, they've got an incredible ring entrance, they're really irritating, they shout a lot and scream and wail in the ring. And look, they're really good in that role. They're really good and really effective in that role. It's also a role that means they can just lose a lot. And obviously, you don't really want to do that while you're carrying around belts, but I do think they're going to lose here.
Yeah.
Pac and his band of boys over.
Yeah, it feels like they put the titles on these boys to unify them with obviously Acclaimed and stuff like that, and they've got a bucket full of titles. Let's just go. There we go. Here's the brand new trios titles off the back of this, and they're around the waist of those killers on the left, right, whatever way you're looking at.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's move on. This is the match I am the most confident on the entire card. I think there's more chance of Christian Cage leaving as world champion than there is the opposite of the result I'm about to book. It is the brilliant Willow Nightingale, the TBS champion, versus finally debuting Mercedes Money.
Go and do the CEO thing. Can you do that? Can you do it? Of course you can.
Money. Yeah, she has to win.
I resign.
She has to win, doesn't she? She has to win.
Yeah, I think you don't come this far in a build that she can't really do all that much physically. When she wasn't cleared, obviously she took that ridiculous bump the other week, which was a lot of fun because it's Mercedes and she's insane when it comes to the bumping. You don't go through all of this unless she's going over in the end, and I think she will do so.
A lot of pressure on this match.
Oh, huge pressure. She hasn't wrestled in a year. It's her first match for the company. The run so far hasn't really lived up to a lot of people's expectations. I think that now they're kind of like acknowledging that she's the heel in all of this, which is good, because for a while it was like, how can you're facing Willow. Everyone loves Willow. Like you got to pivot a little bit here. And to their credit, they have a little bit more recently. I think she's going to go over Mercedes. That is really dastardly. I think she's going to do something nasty and horrible and upsetting to Willow Nightingale, and that is going to cement her for a good run as a heel champion. I also have complete faith in these two. I think they're going to absolutely crush it. I think that Mercedes is one of the best wrestlers of her generation. I think she's going to remind people of that here.
I hope so.
I just hope that she is 100%, 200% healed, because injuries are not good.
No, I think you're right. I think obviously, Willow loses this. Then maybe in the rematch, that's when you reveal Chris Statlander as a heel, and they can go off in their own direction. I seem to have forgotten that someone turned the lights out and attacked Mercedes, and it was Chris Statlander, guys. Spoilers. Here's a question, here's a prediction for you. This, as a result of this match and this pay-per-view, this, right now, is the last week where we have one women's match on AEW Dynamite television.
That might be the boldest prediction you've ever made.
I hope I'm right, because the whole point was, when Mercedes comes in, she's changing the landscape. You've already got a world champion. Now you've got, I'd like to have seen Willow wrestle at the same time as the world champion. You have two women's matches on Dynamite now. With Mercedes as champion, Toni Storm as champion, just put regularly two women's matches. They don't have to be back-to-back or next to each other. You can have one opening, one in the main event. You can have one halfway through the first hour, one halfway through the second hour. I just hope it's the catalyst for change that Mercedes wants to be.
Yeah, and if she fully leans into this heel character, I think it'll help a lot as well, going down that road. But let's move on to the second of our three main events.
Triple H, genuinely, they called it a triple main event.
Triple H main events. Here we are. We're going with the world title match, second to last on the show. Swerve wins next. Taking the piss aside, I'm really glad that they booked this as his first program, Swerve, as world champion, because Christian Cage is the greatest of all time. It's not just the character, it's not just the sheer haterness that drips out of this man every time he walks out with a look on his face and a turtleneck around his neck. It's the work as well. I remember the Jungle Boy casket, whatever they called it, but the casket match where Christian, I think it was about 20 minutes long, Christian maybe did one wrestling move in the whole thing, and yet it was one of the most impressive individual performances of the year, because he's just such a scuzzy asshole. I'm really excited to see how that style meshes with Swerve, who is far more athletic, of course. Like, his style's a lot faster, it's a lot quicker, it's a lot more state-of-the-art, lots of sudden changes of direction, various other things. I think it's a fascinating clash from that standpoint. I think it's a really good clash of characters. I think Swerve came off excellently on the go-home show.
Finally,
You bring back What Up Turds, I'm not going to, I can't say anything else. It's great. I think that this was an ideal month-long storyline in which Swerve goes over in the end.
AEW's AJ Styles, basically, Christian Cage. For me, I think, they're
not
both... but both in terms of Swerve and Cody Rhodes, no one's thinking that either of them are losing their title in their first big pay-per-view defense. But it was entertaining nonetheless. Like you say, I've enjoyed Christian Cage as a challenger. Didn't think Swerve had got enough up until this week where finally, and it was almost like, right, maybe I've misjudged the build to this because without that, I wouldn't have been as pissed off as I was. And then finally, like, yes, he's got some payback and Nana's back and what have you. Yeah, Christian Cage, unfortunately, he's not going to win the World Championship, but he's got stuff with Adam Copeland, the way we're booking down the road as a team, that is. I know they've done a lot against each other in the past. Obviously, Christian Cage has family. He has his son, he has Nick Wayne's mom, who's got it going on, and he's got Killswitch in there. You need to get rid of them. So, get ready some bollocks coming your way in the next match as well, by the way. Nana's back, takes out Nick Wayne. Swerve's daughter takes out
What?
Nick Wayne's mom.
Okay, all right.
But who, Andy Murray, who could take out Killswitch? Well, I don't want to make any accusations, but Rick Ross kicks his ass after saying, "You big motherfucker."
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Nicholas, I apologise.
He's had two now, the poor guy.
He gets one, I get one.
Yeah,
Come
he
on.
can kick us both in the balls after this.
Uh-oh.
You get Rick Ross back in AEW.
Come on!
I'm never complaining about that. Let's get Action Bronson back as well. Let's get
Yeah.
all the rappers back. Remember Jade Cargill versus Bow Wow? Why not? Why not?
That was a thing, wasn't it?
That'll be a tough one to run back considering she doesn't work there anymore. But yeah, why not? Get him in.
Oh, Anarchy
Anarchy.
in the arena.
Yeah, it's the main event, probably.
Yeah?
Probably?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
following this, you got a flamethrower on the go-home show. What are they going to do on the night?
Imagine that. You put this like second or third in the show. Up next is the Bang Bang Gang. Okay, cool.
You've been there for an Anarchy in the arena, haven't you?
I think they called it a Stadium Stampede at
Okay.
Wembley, but it was violent,
Yes.
and crazy and nasty. So kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chaos. You can't keep up with it, but that's part of the
Those bell
part of
ends
the fun.
faces, they're brilliant, aren't they?
Yep. I mean, Matt kind of there looks a bit like Diesel in the face,
It
which
does.
is really strange. Jungle Boy, I don't have my glasses on, looks a bit like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Like, what's Austin Aries
It's got
there?
like Punk's hair at the top, it looks, it's all slicked back.
Yes. Austin Aries top left. Sorry. Sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to tar you with that brush. And then Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dax, Harwood, Cash Wheeler, Darby Allin with his flamethrower,
And he's hanging on by a string, one would assume.
and the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah, that helps. The Elite have to win.
Yeah, they do. They do. You can't run this power storyline, Tony Khan over here, they're over there, handing out fines, banning people from the arena, taking liberties, taking advantage, giving their stupid little mate a job back. You can't go through all of that, showing the CM Punk footage, only to neuter it in the first big match, can you? If they do lose, I think it would be a very, very silly move indeed, despite the quality of opposition they're facing. They kind of have to go over. You're right. There's not a counter-argument, really.
Any appearance from Hangman Page or anything like that yet for you?
I think that would be interesting. It's hard to gauge.
Got history at Double or Nothing, of course.
He does. He, I believe it was personal reasons he was
Yes.
taking the time off for, right? So, very hard to gauge any of that kind of stuff. It could be anything. So, it would be cool. He has to get involved in the storyline at some point. He has to... But the difficult thing with his situation is that he was doing really good work as a pissed off heel towards the end of his most recent time on TV. And I kind of don't want to see him throw that away unless he joins the assholes.
Fight Swerve, perhaps.
There you go, maybe.
They introduced a flamethrower, as I said, on the Go Home Dynamite. Does that factor into this at all? And they introduced Tony Khan being back as well.
I wonder if they might try and do, like, obviously they're not going to set the building on fire. But I wonder if, because Eddie Kingston's not there, if maybe they'll do, like, a little shout-out spot where somebody bloody, maybe Danielson, given his history with Eddie, comes down with a gas can and the flamethrower is in play.
What if it's Tony Khan? Neck brace, gas canister. You're doing great, guys!
Tony Khan, gee whiz, like he's...
I genuinely have two fire spots for you, and I think both are genuinely feasible.
Okay, hit me.
The Bucks love shoe stuff. So a super kick whilst their foot's on fire is very much in their wheelhouse.
Yep, 100%.
Alternative, and this just popped into my head watching Dynamite when Nicholas thought, I know what counteracts a flamethrower. Chair. And it got put through a table. I noticed that man was wearing a fedora and I thought, those are the things that are quite flammable.
Flaming fedora.
Darby Allin's on fire!
That could be quite difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
Without setting their head on fire.
Just duck at the right time, Nicholas.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Just a little whoosh. I could absolutely see Darby Allin going, yeah, I'll set myself on fire, no problem. Like human fireball.
Drop money and set it on fire. The Ricardo.
Harsh on Mercedes, but never mind. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. I mean, should you do any of it? Probably not.
Yeah,
Probably not.
in a contained space.
Yeah. Unless you got someone there with the extinguishers right away. It's
What's the TNA show where they just set off the sprinklers?
I don't
Remember that? Oh, the roof's on fire, by the way, guys. Whoop.
I love that kind of botch. That's the kind of botch I can get into. The sprinklers going off. Remember that time Michael Cole's messenger notification pinged on his laptop?
That time the Mania sign got set on fire. Just dripping on people. They're like, is this all right?
Am I melting? What's going on?
This is going to be absolute chaos. But yeah, the Elite have to win. I'm really looking forward to this whole show. It's going to be mental.
Yeah, the pay-per-views are universally excellent at the moment, so the only, what am I talking about? I don't have any concerns.
No.
I think the whole card rocks. Like, it's a really good lineup, but they always are on these pay-per-views, and looking forward to consuming it nice and early on Monday morning.
Oh yeah, it's a Sunday night and it's a bank holiday here in the UK, so we'll be a bit delayed with all of our reaction to it, but don't worry, we will do it in due course. And as I said, let us know your predictions in the comments section below. And whilst you're waiting for the pay-per-view to start, why not check out this video right here?
Yep.
Bye!